78.6 FM Yoma Time. Positive vibes with a Winsome. Another wonderful Saturday, another beautiful Saturday here in Yomatan, Okinawa, Yomatan Village. No reason to be anything other than positive today. I'm having a wonderful day. Great news if you guys know my friends, my circle, the folks who've contributed to this show. My little brother, Senior Airman Jalen Phipps. Once again, Senior Airman Jalen Phipps made Staff Sergeant yesterday. So my little brother, who I talk to as often as possible, I'm so proud of him, did the work and reaped the award. So newly promoted Staff Sergeant in the United States Air Force. I mean, this has been a wonderful month. August has always been a wonderful month. It's the 24-year anniversary this August for me in the United States Air Force. So to cap that off, to find out that someone who I truly care about has pinned on, or will be pinning on, Staff Sergeant, made that promotion. We found that's out yesterday. That is great news. Hey, anyway, 78.6 FM. I wanted to kick it off with that great news because I'm super proud of the young man. He definitely motivated me this morning to come in here. I wanted to make sure that we capped it off with that. But as you know, the first segment of every show is always dedicated to Thumball.com, trainerswarehouse.com, and now youthlight.com and Free Period Press. So, guys, I've been on a little adventure. In case you didn't notice, I just named 4 different collaborative partners. I'm going to say that again. Thumball.com, trainerswarehouse.com, youthlight.com, and also Free Period Press, who, if you haven't been following me on my social media, they contributed to the journal, the self-care journal that I have been showing and sharing videos, the little Okinawa adventures. And the last one was me on the scooter, and then, of course, you had me waking up in the sunrise, just enjoying the sunrise. The cool thing about the Free Period Press journal is that it's asking you to take a second, find time for yourself to show that you're taking care of yourself, right? Imagine taking time to write in this book every day, just to reflect on something that you did for you, to make sure that you're doing something for you. And in addition to that, and I gave my little brother Jalen, congratulations again, his copy of the self-care journal yesterday. So I'll be checking with you to make sure you're writing this thing. But this is one of the coolest tools because, hey, man, life gets in the way all the time, right? It's so easy for us to get caught up in the everyday hustle and bustle. But finding a time for you, and, you know, I've been championing this for about 1.5 years now. It's very important to take the time out to take care of you. And self-care is more than just going out there and pampering yourself with a massage and getting your feet done every once in a blue moon. No, self-care is what do you do consistency for your mental health, for your physical health, for your spiritual health, and for your social health. What do you do to make sure you're taking care of you? The book also highlights some really cool things, and every day throw some ideas at you of how you can take care of yourself, right? The ones that you've seen on my social media, or do something that you haven't done since you were a little kid, right? Just an example. The other one is just and watch the sunrise, and make it a point to watch the sunset. Whew. Man, it throws these ideas at you, right? If it's one that you choose to run with, you can go ahead and write about that experience. How magical it was. It's raining outside. I couldn't go out there and enjoy the sunrise, but I was able to enjoy the sunset. Or anything that you choose to write about, that is your book, your story. So if you're interested, hit me up. You know, I'm a call, a text, positivevibesradioshow.com if you want me to send you the links to get you your own copy of the self-care journal. Hey, I'm ordering them for my friends. I'm making sure that we are taking care of ourselves, because when we take care of ourselves, we have more energy, more mental capacity, physical capacity, and spiritual capacity to take care of others. You can't pour into someone else's cup if your cup is empty, right? We hear this all the time. But the truth is, you can't do for others if you can't even do for yourself. Who's going to want you to do something for them when they see you're on your last leg? You're in fumes, right? So you ask the question, how do you take care of yourself physically, Winston? What does that mean? And the coolest thing is, I know your mind immediately goes to picturing that sweaty person in the gym, pushing that weight up, or the person doing cardio and exhausting themselves. That's what the first thing you think of when you think of physical self-care. But the truth is, physical self-care is so much more. Notice I don't need any notes. I talk about this to my folks all the time. It's not about what you put in or put out there in the gym. It's what you put in as well as your nutrition, how you take care of your body, how you take care of what you do with your body every single day. Because listen to me, you wake up and you have the ability to walk for the most part, for most of you, right? You have the ability to open your eyes and see the world. You had the ability to touch things you never touched before, taste things you've never tasted before. You have the ability and the opportunity every single day to do something with your body that you haven't done the day before. Physically, you got to take care of that. You only get one body, guys. Maybe that was lost in translation. You only get one body to manage, take care of. It's not a rental. You junk it in and get another one. Even though I know like there's some actresses and models that, they get new bodies every quarter, it seems like. I've noticed watching TV. No judgment. It's just the reality. I see it, right? But that doesn't mean that's changing what's going on in the inside of that person. All of these surgeries and all of these diets and fads that people put themselves through, that does something to your body. So when you're taking care of your body, physical self-care, how are you making your body your temple? How are you showing your body that it's important to you? That's what it boils down to. I tell my folks all the time, at least 30 minutes a day. Sometimes it's hard, right? To get up earlier, to break at lunchtime, to stay up a little later, or to stay at work a little later, or whatever. Make that work for after work. But finding time in your day before work, during the day, or after work to do something physical for 30 minutes. And I don't mean walking around the gym. I mean something that is actually going to raise your heart rate, make your muscles actually work, something that's making the blood pump and flow through your body for 30 minutes. Imagine if you can do that every single day. Imagine what your body would look like, feel like, how it respond, react. I tease and joke. My friends are always talking about me right now because my knees always popping, pop, 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 pop. But I can tell you what, I know exactly, because I know my body, I know exactly why my knees, my legs do whatever they do, because it's the work I put into them that they're going to give me back, right? So I'm an upper body guy, right? You guys, if you're looking at me on YouTube, I like to get in there and do the push-ups and the sit-ups and the arms, right? All the beach muscles is what we call them. I do all the beach muscles, but I got to push myself to work on my legs. I don't want to be the guy that skips leg days all the time. But I used to be. And guess what's paying for it right now? Pop, 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 pop. Those knees. Imagine if I've been strengthening them this whole time. Putting that same effort into the legs, the muscles, all the supporting muscles, all the exterior and interior, building and reinforcing around those knees. What would they do right now for me? We're talking self-care, right? I'm not out there jumping out of planes right now. I'm just doing every day standing. I do a standing desk. I don't even sit down. Pop, 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 pop. I'm telling you, it's what you put in to your body is what you're going to get back, right? So if you're giving yourself at least 30 minutes a day, you're telling your body, hey, man, I care enough about you to where I'm going to put you to work. If you're one of those folks who has a very work-intensive, physically intensive job, I get it. I'm not talking about that. I'm not trying to take nothing away from you. Hey, you out there 8 hours a day doing something physical. I'm talking about getting out there and actually working out. Cardiovascular exercise. Doing something to get your brain pumping, your body, your blood flowing, your heart rate up, right? That's what I'm talking. At least 30 consistent minutes a day. Block everything else out and find a way. Get outside and run. Get in the gym and lift. Don't skip legs. do something for you. That's physically. And then what you put into your body. I was talking to a friend today, had an idea, said, hey, instead of the normal basic meal planning, think about bowls, right? Mention a different way of creating a semi-meal plan that lasts throughout the week, right? Creating a little food bowl that has everything you need in it. It reminds me of something I saw on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, what Charlie was doing with the protein balls. It's funny. But this is a bowl, right? You make it like a salad bowl type deal, but everything in there is stuff that's going to get you through your day. It was a cool idea. What do you do? This is somebody who actually researched it, right? Found the plan that worked for them to get them through the week, through the work week. So they don't got to do the individual sizing and portioning. Something that works exactly well for that person's schedule, for that person's time, for that person's energy. And that's what we don't do. We don't take the time to figure these things out. And I say this in self-care, and I say this a lot when I'm teaching classes about taking care of yourself, is you owe it to yourself to find that time. That journal. You can do that before you go to bed at night. You owe it to yourself, right? To find time to capture what you're grateful for, to talk about how you took care of yourself, to remind yourself to add a page to your story. So it's the same thing with your diet. You owe it to yourself to figure out, am I putting in what my body needs? My friends will tell you I eat the same things every day. I'm not picky. I'm consistent. It's never going to be nothing wild. It's always the same thing. I know what I put into my body, and I know what I put out as well. And I'll tell you, I'm miserable. I'm a completely different person when I don't make it to the gym, when I don't do something really active to get my blood flowing and the juices flowing in my brain. So I ask you, are you taking care of yourself physically? Not just what you're putting out, but what you're putting into your body. Self-care. Another thing that we talk about, and people skip it all the time because they don't really know what it means, and they only associate it with what the word church is, spiritual self-care. You see, and spiritual self-care takes on something completely different outside of the religious families that you may spend time with, or the church homes that you may be accustomed to knowing and associating with spiritual self-care. That's part of it. That's one part of it. That's an option. The other options for self-care are, how do you connect and where do you pull your strength from? What do you have faith in and pull your energy from when you're going through things? Because you got to build that up. You got to make that house strong. All these things in self-care, these are parts of your foundation. I talked about them yesterday on the AFN. And yesterday we're talking about a completely different topic, which is so awesome because they all tie together when you're talking about your foundation. Yesterday's topic was the core of you. So when you're talking about your spiritual self-care, where do you pull your strength from? I mentioned that I go to the lighthouse. I spent an hour and a half at the lighthouse today here in Zampa. And I walked up, and when I walked in and got out of the car, I had to put the shades on. I wasn't trying to be cool. I promise you, the sun was just on fire today, right? So it was beaming. It was real humid. You automatically sweat when you get out of the air conditioning. So I put the little glasses on, and I'm going to tell you something that shifted and changed was my perspective on how hot it was and how bright it was. Immediately, those glasses did something to me. It gave me an ability to see things differently. The greens looked greener. When I got up to the water, the blues looked bluer. The waves moved different than what they look like when you're squinting your eyes and trying to see into the water. I want to tell you about that because there was a shift. Not like automatically and magically when I put the glasses on, but there was a shift when I got up to the top of the lighthouse. And I want to share that story with you because it's always beautiful to spend time up there. But when your perspective changes, when you see things differently and you've been looking at the same thing every day or once a week or consistently, you've always looked at it, but then all of a sudden there's a shift. What causes it? And why is it important to take notice? 78.6 FM Yoma Time, Positive Vibes of Winsome. We'll be back right after this break. Yeah, stay tuned. We'll be talking about self-care. 78.6 FM Yomaton, positive vibes of Winsome. As you know, when we left, we were talking about spiritual self-care, right? I was tying it in and telling a story about when I walk up on top or walk to the top of the lighthouse here in Zampa. Hey, again, I just want to send a shout out to my little brother, Jalen Phipps, for making staff sergeant this week. You inspired me, you pushed me and motivated me. Just watching you move over the past couple of months, man, and knowing how important, these moments are. Really, truly, I'm really proud of you. There's no words. All right, just kick the segment off with that. I just don't want anybody to forget and give we definitely have to give our good folks praise and tell them how proud we are when they do great things, man, especially when they're good people. And I love to say that because good things happen to good people. Facts. You wake up every single day, man, and that should be your goal. Let me just be kind to someone. Let me just be a good person today. Let me just try my hardest to be grateful for a new day. So when I'm climbing to the top of this lighthouse, right, and I get to the top and I step outside, remember what I told you, when I got out of the car, the sun was on 1,000. It was burning up. And I remember like immediately sweating, and I was squinting my eyes to look around, right? So when you're squinting your eyes and you're trying to enjoy something beautiful, you're not going to get the same out of it. It's going to be like, difficult to see. And you know how it is when you're walking towards the sun, it seems like you don't really want anything but shade. All right, so I reach back to the car and I open the door, pull out my little Air Force shades they give you when they give you your prescription, right? They give you a little cheap pair of shades, but they work. It's got your prescription in them. So I put them on and I start walking. Now everything's changed, right? The sun's still coming down, but now the greens are greener. You hear what I was telling you? The rocks, you can see the curves again, right? And as I step into the lighthouse, I stop at the counter and I say hi to the young lady behind the desk, and she's doing her business, right, taking my yen. And I say, hey, before I go up, I want to share something with you. And I show her the video that we did the speech on at ICAS. Beautiful video, man, time-lapsed. And I share that with her. She's smiling and cheesing, and you hear her say, Segoy. And I pull out the business card and I say, hey, if you want to see the whole thing, here's the business card, the website. And I was excited to share that because that's their lighthouse. I wanted to share that. This is your business. This is my favorite place to be on the island. While I'm sitting here talking to her with shades and sweat dripping down my head. So I climb up the lighthouse, the elevator. I climb up the lighthouse. And as I go, you guys know this story. I've told it before. It tells you where you are as you're climbing up all these stairs. Remember what I mentioned about that physical self-care? As I'm going up, I'm feeling that right knee. I'm telling you, I can't make this up. I'm feeling that knee, and I'm beating myself up about all them leg days I skipped, right, over the last couple of years. Going up, and as you get there, you're halfway there, right? Now you're a quarter there. I get to about a quarter of the lighthouse going up, and I see another family who's kind of gassed, right? And it's cute because I'm like, that was me when I first started walking up here. I was gassed. This isn't easy, right? Getting up the lighthouse, but it's worth it. Let's go. So I'm waiting on them. I'm cool because now I'm giving myself a chance for my knee to rest, right? While they gassed, I can act like I'm just waiting on them, but I'm really like hurting because my knee's on fire, right? So they get to the top, we step out, and it's always the same beautiful view. Immediately as you step out, you see the water, right? And quickly, without hesitation, the wind hits you. Now, I remember when I was going into the lighthouse, it was humid and hot and the sun was on 1,000. But when I stepped outside at the top of the lighthouse, it's like the sun took a break. And the wind hit you. And when the wind hit me, it was a nice little breeze. It's like, ooh, nice. Wait a minute, the higher I got, the nicer the breeze got or what? I step outside and remember I got the shades on now, the blues. Compared to the last couple of times that I've been out there, the blues were bluer. The waves had a different movement to them. So these glasses, they have the prescription and they're shaded. So I'm watching and everything looks so clear. I'm not squinting my eyes to enjoy it. I'm not stepping back and wiping sweat off my head because there's a breeze. It was like the perfect moment, or should I say moments, to be at the top of the lighthouse today. So as I'm stepping around, I'm getting video. I just want a cool 20-second shot here and there, right? And I'm enjoying the view. seeing people down there fishing. I'm seeing people coming through the lighthouse like I just did and walking around taking selfies and all this stuff. I'm just taking it all in. I'm appreciating the time. Hey, I climbed up here. I'm going to enjoy this. So I walk around. I get the view of the city, right? The view of Okinawa. You see Yomatan. I see where my apartment tower is from where I'm looking. I walk around a little more and I'm seeing nothing but water as far as the eyes can see. Boats going by. Little speedboat. I'm like, I want to be in one of those one day. The waves turning white behind the speedboat as it's clearing and chopping through them. You see, what I'm telling you, what I'm trying to get you to picture is how amazing these moments are and the magic in these moments. But the difference is, if I would have went up there without the glasses, the sun was on 1,000, I would have been squinting to see these things. I would have been rushing probably to get away from the top because it's on fire and I can't really see anything good anyway. Right? Or I've been trying to endure it, which is what I normally do when the sun is on 1,000. I just want to soak it in. I put the sunscreen on. I know it's going to be hot, but I go out there anyway because I want to feel it. I want to feel the sun hit me, the light breeze go against my skin, smell of the ocean, watching the seagulls fly by, closing my eyes for a moment and just listening to the water. You see, these are things that recharge my spirit. They recharge everything that I've been given all week. That's what recharges my battery. Block it all out. You see, there can be 20 people on top of the lighthouse. But when I'm in that moment, all I know is me. All I'm hearing and feeling and the sensations are just what's happening around those people and in front of me because I can see it, I can feel it, I can smell it, I can hear it. So when you talk about physical self-care and then you talk about spiritual self-care, you see, that's a whole spiritual moment for me. It recharges my battery. It's what I need is to get away. I know I need to block out the noise and go somewhere beautiful and just take it all in. Remind myself how grateful I am to be here. How wonderful the opportunities are. How even on my worst days, there's beauty to be found around me. How no matter how hard it gets, how tough it gets, I can always block out the noise and recharge and reset and come back better the next day. Because I owe it to myself to find that moment or that opportunity to do it. The question is, are you doing the same? Are you finding those opportunities? Do you know what it takes to recharge you spiritually? What feeds you? What gives you that energy, that charge, that boost? What does your soul, your spirit, your mind need to get recharged, refreshed? How do you block out the noise and just take in what gives you strength? For me, it's this beautiful city and those scenes like that. You see, I find beauty in the rain. And I love to find the rainbow after. You see, the rain brings the sound of the rain hitting the cement outside my door or window. The rain brings, I can't move. I can't go nowhere. I got to be here. I don't want, even when I'm in the car, sometimes just pull over and just watch it. Just the water spout flowing over the front window. And just be at peace in those moments like, let me just pause for a minute and just watch this. Then you get going again with the windshield wipers, right? And you get moving. But finding that time to breathe. Finding that time to block out the noise. Remembering what it is that charges me and re-energizes me. Because for me, I'm an extroverted introvert. I give and give and give all week, every day when I'm teaching, when I'm speaking, when I'm engaging. And then I need to recharge. That's why I'd rather be in a booth on the weekends. I don't want to be out there. I already gave everybody everything I got. I don't like being in the classrooms on the weekends. I just want to be my own space, block out the noise, and recharge and get ready to give next week. Spiritually. Yeah, I do the meditation, but not the way you probably picture it on TV or seen on YouTube. I do it where I close my eyes, block out the noise, and just picture nothing. Peace. Those moments, somebody asked me, why you wear your headphones if there's no music playing? Because I'm blocking out all the excess. for a minute. Noise canceling. Blocking out all the access. I just need a moment of peace. What do you do? Some people like to be engaged in some sort of, what do you call that, group that allows you to help recharge together, right? Forget the name for it, but when you a fellowship around females or sororities, there's people who help recharge your battery in different ways, or networking, or all these things. But I'm asking you spiritually, how do you reset, recharge, and heal? Because you didn't know that it's just like every muscle. You working that muscle all week. And when you are in the gym physically, working those muscles out, you're tearing those muscles down, you're breaking your muscles down. And when they heal, that's how they get stronger and bigger, because they're healing and growing into what you're hoping would be the mass or cuts or whatever, rips, shreds that you want. So I ask the question, when you're spiritually giving, how do you heal? How do you replenish? What do you do? Where do you pull your strength from? When you're going through something, what do you reach for? When you're dealing with something, where do you go? You see, you have to have a consistent source that works for you. And if that consistent source, for whatever reason, you have to have a backup source to heal, replenish, reset spiritually. So I challenge you, if you don't have that already, those two that I've already mentioned, your physical self-care and your spiritual self-care, I challenge you to go ahead and reset that and readjust and go get it, because you owe it to yourself. And that's just physical and spiritual. Spiritual, of course, you go into the realm of religion as well. Some people find that comfort, they find that strength, they find that faith, that source in religion. That's where they pull it from. It's that word that I love, that word hope. I told you, I think it was 2 weeks ago, how a show really pulled the purpose and the definition of that word. There's nothing that can beat hope. Nothing that is stronger than hope. Because hope can get you through anything. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. We are talking about self-care. When we come back, we're going to talk about mental self-care and social self-care. Be right back right after this break. .6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. Welcome back. We've been talking about self-care. One of the things that I wanted to draw out from the first segment was, of course, when I was going up the lighthouse, and how my perspective was important, right? That I view that day as a hot day, the sun on 1,000, it's too hot to be out here, or that I view that day as an opportunity to go up to the lighthouse when the sun is shining bright and the waters are clear. And there's not a lot of people standing up there. It's a perfect time. You see how you can look at things and they become what you see in your mind. Let me say that again. Your perspective shapes your feelings. Your feelings shape what you do. So if you have a negative perspective on something, you more than likely aren't going to like or want to do it. But if you find a way to have a positive perspective and outlook on something, you are going to want to accomplish it, achieve it, and do it. Having a positive perspective isn't easy, but it's always when you can find the good where there's magic in life. For me, I could have said, hey, oops, too hot, getting back in the car. Or B, I'm here. It's beautiful out here today. The greens are popping, the blues are popping. I can just go up to this lighthouse and see all of Okinawa. And that's what I did. And you know what? I can't see. I'm squinting a little bit, so I'm going to put these shades on. And trust me, I don't look cool with them on. They don't look like what you're probably picturing. They didn't look cool on me. But it was needed. They were purposeful, right? So, hey, we've been talking about self-care. We covered spiritual self-care, and we talked about physical self-care. I want to talk about social self-care. It's really cool, man, because you can pull, these definitions out of a lot of different topics because it's the foundations, the core, the pillar of a lot of different subjects. Excuse me, I mentioned how, those 4 pillars are actually discussed in, resiliency. They're discussed in when you're talking about self-care, emotional intelligence covers some of these things. It's always important, but one of the first in almost every topic when it comes to discussing these things is self-awareness. If you don't know who you are or what you're trying to do, where you're growing, and what you want to be when you grow up, right? If you don't have that knowledge about yourself, then it's going to be hard to know how to shape your perspective. It's going to be hard to know where you fall or how you're doing, measuring when it comes to taking care of yourself. I had a couple of people actually over the last couple of weeks. They've been walking in. I give them homework assignments, and they walk in and they say, "Oh man, I already got it. It's all in here, all in my head. I already know." And I'm like, "There's a reason I needed you to write it down, because there's everything in our head, but when you write it down, you're taking it out of there and you're looking at it, and you can see it. It gives you a target." A lot of people fail that first test, right? But I'll tell you this. When it comes to your social self-care, the test and the measurement is just like you hear in the quotes. You show me your 5 friends, I'll show you who you are. You show me your circle, I'll show you your moves. The biggest thing about social self-care is surrounding your people with the right audience, the right crowd, the right group, the right personnel. Who is your circle? Who do you surround yourself with? So 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. We're talking about social self-care. One of the things I do for my social self-care is my annual purge. And it's August, so I owe myself this month, right? The annual self-purge is I only got one social media outlet. I don't mess around with multiple. It's too much for me. I'm old, right? I'm 43. I don't want to mess around with more than just Facebook right now. I don't have Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter. I don't have all that. I used to. Now it's just Facebook and my business page. And, of course, this site, right? My personal Facebook. So when I go in, I look and pay attention. You got thousands of friends in here, but who's actually here for the right reason? Are you going to take the time to go through and get rid of people who really are adding no value to your life? Why are you giving access to yourself to people who actually care less or are adding no value, who aren't even a factor? Well, how many bots you got in there that just say, "Hey, can you be my friend?" You was like, "Cool," but clear. I was showing a friend hundreds of people I haven't accepted because I don't know you. And if it's not, I don't know you. I don't know what, I don't need any drama. I don't need anything added to my story. I have a circle of people or family people in here that I know, trust. This is my personal page. Know, trust, or have been a part of my story in some capacity that they've added value. Let me say that again. The people that are on my Facebook page, I know, trust, or have been part of my story in some capacity that they have added value to my life. You see, some people forget that point. They just add anybody, opening themselves up to any kind of scrutiny, drama, discussions. And no, that's not me. And if there's been any doubt, or if that person or people have caused any doubt of me and their intentions, I've been known. Kick them out. Gotta go. Because that's operation. That purge is not just about getting rid of people that you don't know, not adding value, but it's also about protecting your peace socially. And I'm going to tell you what that does for you. I don't blast relationship statuses out there. I don't post my kids a whole lot out there. I protect my peace because you know what? I don't need anything that's going to disturb any of that. And I protect those people by being very careful about what I put on social media. I don't put myself out there. I don't need any additional attention, scrutiny. Everything I post is about positive energy, positive vibes, movements, goals accomplished, bucket list items accomplished, and my story. It's bold, truth, open, honest, and relentlessly me. Unapologetically. So I'm not going to leave myself open to scrutiny, posting anything ridiculous, or allow people in that page that I have no clue what their intentions are. Some people pull, twist, discontort anything, and I don't have energy for it. So I say that not because there's probably someone listening who I blocked or kicked off my Facebook page. I say that because social self-care is about protecting your peace. Surrounding yourself with those people who are actually providing value, adding value, supporting you, helping you grow, helping you move, or have been an important part of your story in a positive way. Not about surrounding yourself with people or adding people to your social life that just so you can gloat, brag, move in front of, like, hey, I got this, I do this. No, guess what you're doing? You're wasting energy. You're wasting a lot of energy. If you want to do something like that, then that's all you, 100%. But when it comes to taking care of yourself socially, that's not it. That's not what right looks like. Protect your peace. So your social media is one. Your circle is another. Who do you surround yourself with? Who do you allow access to your life? Who do you allow access to your story? To comment. Remember what you're doing right now. You let me in your life as your friend, and I can see all your other friends. I can dismantle what I see if I like drama. If you let me into your life, you're telling me that I have full access to everything that you got going on. Open yourself up. However, if you're in a group socially, you surround yourself with friends that you've selected only because you know that person is going where you're trying to go, doing what you're trying to do, and they're adding value into your life in some way, shape, form, and that you can do the same for them. You can reciprocate whatever energy and effort that you give them is appreciated. Those are the people that you need in your life because they're helping you grow. You're adding value to each other's stories. That is the key to social self-care. Allowing yourself to get out there and try something. I went to the USO this past week, I believe it was, the week before last. And they were hosting a Magic the Gathering get-together. Magic the Gathering. And I thought it was one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in my life. Because it was when I walked in the room, that little group that you would see, there were people surrounding the entire room. And I've been to the USO a lot, right? And I'll tell you, I've never seen the room that full. So to walk in there and to see a full room of people, it was truly amazing. And I went to the counter. You know me, I'm a people person. So I go to the counter to the guy that's letting people in. And I say, hey, what is this? Because I had no clue. I've never been a part of anything that's at the USO this big. This is really cool. I was there watching the movie Prey with my buddy, and we were just enjoying a movie. So I walk in here, and there's this Magic the Gathering. There's people from teenagers to grown adults older than me, just smiling and having fun, engaging and enjoying each other's company. And so I asked the guy, I said, what is this? He said, this is the Magic the Gathering. We're trying to do this all over Okinawa. We're trying to make it big. This is one of our events. We're probably going to do one next month. And I was like, this is amazing. Listen to me. I said, young man, this is it. This is beautiful because I've always been one of those guys. If you build it, they'll come, right? But what you've done is you've tapped into something that's something people really enjoy, and you're opening up to where now they have a social forum to enjoy it with a large group of people. You're creating bonds. You're creating relationships. You're creating an atmosphere of love, not just for what they're doing in front of them, but where some of these relationships can grow. The people are going to look forward to seeing each other, not just to compete against each other, but where those relationships can go is what else do we have in common? It was beautiful to see. So I give a quick shout out for the team here in Okinawa that are doing the Magic the Gathering, because that was awesome. And I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Hopefully I can get you on one of the Sunday shows so you can talk about it and post it on the page, man, because that is beautiful. And thank you for allowing me to learn more about that and sending me the email and explaining your journey and what you're trying to do, because that's something that's rare. It's tapping into that and growing and doing it for all the right reasons. I applaud you. 78.6 FM Yomatan, social self-care. Now we're going to talk about mental to close this bad boy out. Now, you know what it's like. You hear all these words, and you hear them often. Depression, anxiety, stress, sadness. I like to go and use the example when I'm teaching emotional intelligence, the wonder wheel of emotions. I think we have a list of 456 different emotions on this wheel. They're all different. Some of them are similar, but they're all different. But you can put a name to it. And if you're taking care of yourself mentally, when you're going through any one of these emotions, you know how to put a name to it and how to attack it if it's negative. But if it's positive, how to enhance it, how to build upon it. You see, feelings are human. We're going to have them. And trust me, we teach it. They're going through, there's people every single day going through dozens, if not hundreds of emotions a day. So when you know this about someone, how do you take care of those things? How do you take care of yourself mentally? So one of those things is, what do you listen to? Who do you listen to? When you're going through something, who do you go to? Who do you trust? How do you vent? How do you mentally heal from things? How do you cope? You see, there's so many different things that I can't even cover with you in an hour and a half, but I can tell you that counseling is wonderful. Having a mentor is beautiful. Having a coach is exceptional. Having a friend, a best friend, a reliable, consistent source that you know you can go to and nothing's off limits is a lifesaver, a life hack. See, all of these things matter because all of these things take care of your mental well-being. And then the key to it is, what are you doing for you every single day to strengthen your mental? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Where are you going? How are you feeding your brain? How are you feeding your mind with positive thoughts, positive energy, positive knowledge? Or are you drowning it in all the negativity that's going on around the rest of the world around you? Or are you blocking out the noise and feeding yourself that energy, that knowledge, that life, that positivity that you need to take care of yourself mentally? You see, your mind is a muscle, and everything that you do, all those things I just listed plus more, are adding reps to building your mind up. So listen to me, man. Mentally, socially, spiritually, and physically, take care of you. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Positive vibes of wisdom. See you next week.